Good morning, members, and to the viewing public who are watching us on our live feed and our social media platform. At this time, the chair will call today's budget hearing into order, and with 7 members of the Ways and Means present, we have duly established a quorum. So with that, we move to our next order of business, which is the adoption of our agenda. And do I hear a motion? There is a motion to adopt today's agenda, and it has been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Moving along on our next order of business is item 3, public comments. And at this time, are there any members of the public who are here that wish to make oral testimony? Seeing that there is no public comments, we move further down on our order of business, and that's item 4, introduction and statement of the chair. So at this time, Mr. Secretary Isomar, we thank you and your team for coming before the Committee of Ways and Means this morning to discuss your budget requests and also the governor's proposal that was submitted our way back in April 1st. So with that, I now want to recognize and introduce the members of this august body, starting by myself. I am Representative J.P. Sablon, Chair of the committee. To my left, we have Representative B.J. Atto, Vice Chair of the committee. And to his left, we have the floor leader, Representative Marisa Flores. To her left, we have Representative Vincent O'Don. And to his left, we have Representative Roman Benavente. And on the other side of the aisle, we have our Representative Denita Yangtamay. And to her left, we have Leader Roy Adda. Assisting our committee this morning are our bureau staff, starting with our legal counsel, Joe Hallahan. We have our budget analysis, T.G. Rabago. We also have our senior legislative assistant, Ms. Claire Sablon. We have our IT, Mr. Jonathan Diaz, and of course we have our Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Pete Tuwai. So with that said, we are also assisting also from the administration. We have Ms. V from OMB. So with that said, I now give you the floor, Mr. Secretary, for your opening remarks and of course your presentation. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Listener Wamwai, Hafaday, members of this august body. We thank you for the opportunity to give a little presentation on our activities at the department and our budget submission. I'd like to introduce myself first, obviously. Sorry. My name is Silva Nigisomar. I am the Secretary of your Department of Lands and Natural Resources. To my left here is Director Jack Ogumro of Agriculture. To his left is Ms. Natasha Tomokani, our Invasive Species Coordinator. And to my right, I have Cameron Nicholas, my Special Advisor. To his right, Ms. Rosemary Camacho, Acting Director of DFW. Fish and Wildlife. To her right is Mr. Mike Cruz, the Director of Parks and Recreation, and to his right is Mr. Jack Song Song, Director of Division of Lands and Registration. If there are no objections, Mr. Chair, we'll go ahead with the presentation.
Please proceed.
Thank you. At the screen. The slideshow here is the same as what we did last year, but for those who are new, we'd like to bring these things up. This is the mission of our department, to protect our natural resources. This is the objective of our department. I'm sure folks are familiar. These are the mandates given to each of the divisions that grants them authority to do what it is that we're doing. So we start with my office, the secretaries. Under the department, here are the divisions that make up DLNR: Fish and Wildlife, Agriculture, Lands and Survey, Parks and Recreation, and our adopted program. One day we're gonna find a home for it, send it to where it belongs, at Division of Agriculture, but we need to organize it first. Invasive Species Program. We'll start with the Invasive Species Program. Here are all the staff that are under an Invasive Species Program. We have staff here on Saipan, Rhoda, and Tinian. I take that back. Tinian, we have positions and are having a hard time fill. There is a robust activity over there in their economy, and there are jobs that are outcompeting us in the salaries, and so we're having to re-announce and re-announce. But that is the challenge on Tinian for our program. Next, we migrate over to the Division of Fish and Wildlife. Here are the sections that make up the division. We have coordination, fisheries research, who do science, fisheries data, boating access. Boating access covers Smiling Cove Marina, the aquatic education, wildlife research and management, endangered species, the BTS program, and the enforcement and GIS. These are the divisions in action: trainings, outreach, and scientific collection, data collection. Then we have Division of Agriculture, who's run by Mr. Jack Ogumru here. The programs under that division are listed here. Normally, soil and water is one of the programs under the Secretary's office, but I've since moved it under the division for better processing and monitoring. And again, these are photos of actions and activities by the division. Jack, would you like to speak to it? Any of these photos?
The picture on
Turn on your.
Thank you, Sec. The picture in your top left hand is a picture of one of our staff at forestry. Her name is Michelle. She manages the forest health program, and she's showing the kids at the public library about invasive species, including this bee over here. I'm not sure whether it's a
Hornet.
hornet. Yeah, hornet. Plus the little fire ants, and of course the famous CRB. The bottom picture is taken at the farm in Cagman, the government-owned Cagman farm plot, and it shows a group of students who are visiting and learning about the type of plants we grow on our islands. And the picture on the top right shows the participants and the trainers of the recently concluded para-veterinarian training, which basically involves trainees from Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. And their role is to learn the basic of diagnosing animal health, animals, and basically once they're already certified, and their role is to help our veterinarian, just like a nurse practitioner and those sort of things.
Next up is Division of Land Registration and Survey. Again, most of these are self-explanatory, folks out there doing their job. Division of Parks and Recreation. This is just a sample of the volume of work that happens at Parks and Recreation, all of these areas that need to be upkept, maintained. Some more in-action photos of folks doing their jobs. We have an amazing group of folks there that over time have accumulated a lot of experience and skills that range not just maintaining properties that we are mandated to take care of, but also, you know, we have folks that do welding, plumbing, pouring concrete, and all of that kind of stuff. They're just an amazing group of folks out there. And here is now, we go into the numbers that is allocated for each of the divisions and the department. Out of the Secretary's office, we have 6 FTEs. All of them are locally funded, and they are all filled. So we made our request to the to the governor's submission, and I want to be clear that whatever the governor's submission is one that we fully support, understanding the times our economy is in. We're going to do our part with what we are allocated to continue and fulfill the missions that we're obligated to do. Thank you. I'm sure you all have your documents that show these. So for the Division of Agriculture, we have 18 locally funded FTEs. Of those, 7 are federally funded. 2 of the positions are vacant at the moment. Below there is a list of assets that we have that we use to carry out the mission of the division. At the Division of Fish and Wildlife, Division of Fish and Wildlife is by and large federally funded, but here they have 12 locally funded positions, mostly in the covering the director and the enforcement section. "69 positions are federally funded, 10 of them are vacant. With the change in administration at the federal government, we experienced some moments where we weren't sure about some of our grants. Some of those include the brown tree snake funding funding for the sea turtle program, and Section 6. To date, the brown tree snake program notice of funding opportunity was released. That affects how many positions? The brown tree snake has 9 positions in it. Most are on Saipan. We have a position on Tinian and Rhoda as well. So we are now putting together the package for the brown tree snake program. The 2 others, the turtle program and Section 6, are still. Oh, Section 6 just got released, so we're also working on that package. Lands and survey. We do have some vacancies, but they were budgeted at $1. So, something come up, that would be a good place to provide support to. This position here is budgeted for in the new submission. We'll be looking to fill it as soon as things pass. Division of Parks and Recreation have 40 locally funded FTEs. Currently have 3 vacants, and this is due to folks resigning for various reasons, and so it's a fluid division. We're looking to fill every positions available to us. I'm sure you're aware that we do have an MOA with Department of Public Lands that supports our ability to carry out our mandates under public Parks and Recreation. Here are a couple of things that we would need eventually assistance with from this August body and the full Congress to establish revolving accounts for lands and survey, and another account for the Marpi Public Cemetery that we're about to open up in the very near future. And that, members of this August body, is our presentation. We are open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. So now let us open up with questions and answers. And let's start with the, I know that you've explained very well on your presentation with regards to vacancies. And this August body, although we see that upon request on any department, there are requests for additional NOPs, but there are also several vacancies that are still open. I know that you elaborated about and put emphasis about the position that you have in Tinian, which is competing with other positions out there with regards to salary. You've mentioned just a while ago with Parks and Rec that even with the salary, the work itself that is required of these positions are perhaps a little bit hard of labor, but the other vacancy positions that are perhaps funded by federal grants and that are office type of office. Are those also, are you having hard times on trying to fill this position? And how long have you been trying to fill these positions?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Chair. We have been very successful working with OPM in filling positions. The ones that are challenging are the locally funded ones, the ones that are open at the entry level, because there's a lot of folks who can qualify for that, and so it goes through a rigorous process at OPM. But for those that are federally funded and are unique in nature, we're able to fill those positions quickly once we identify candidates using provisional hire emergency. Because if we left it to the current way of recruitment, it's quite arduous and time consuming. But OPM has been very helpful with us in addressing these needs.
And that goes with the vacancies under the funded by federal.
That is correct, yes.
So you have a field that you are about to fill, or your department is working hard in trying to fill these positions.
Absolutely.
And then before I ask my next question, let me recognize some of the members that just stepped in, Representative Julie Ogo and Representative Patrick San Nicolas, who are part of the Ways and Means Committee. And then I see that, Director, that your current fiscal year budget, you have some NOPs that are perhaps versus the governor's proposal, or there are some variances. For example, in agriculture, you have 18 currently, and the governor's proposing, right, on this 2026 budget at 17. You also have in fish and wildlife 14, and now the governor's proposing 12 for this fiscal year. So apparently you have lost NOPs for this upcoming proposed fiscal year budget from the administration. Is that correct?
Yes.
And maybe, Ms. V, can we put more clarity to the body with these positions?
So if you look at some of the positions, good morning, everybody. Some of the positions, like, for example, agriculture, there's a federal program coordinator that we didn't fill, and we recommend that the Division of Agriculture, or if there is any federal program, that particular FTE should be carried under a federal program, because it's a federal program coordinator, and why do we want the general fund to be paying for a federal program coordinator? It's rightfully appropriate that that particular position be funded under a federal program.
Okay. So clarified, and that goes to Fish and Wildlife Division as well.
Yes, sir.
And then my next question to you, Ms. V, I know that under soil and water conservation, the worksheet mentions that it's 100% allocation, right? But there's no base salary on the worksheet. Why is that on the worksheet? Is this actually funded? Although under the category of allocation percentage, it's stating 100%, but under annual salary, there's no amount there. And this is under the soil and water conservation, which the secretary under his presentation had mentioned that he had moved this program under the agriculture program.
If I may speak to that.
Go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you very much for the question. Again, this is us trying to be creative in using our resources. And so I've tasked the director to provide from his current staffing support to the soil and water districts. So we're currently using folks that are already on board to provide that support.
Okay, so in the worksheet here, the vacant position of administrative assistant is still vacant and not filled, and that the program had moved to agriculture for the Division of Agriculture to lift up this program.
For administrative support, yes.
For administrative support, okay. Thank you for that question. I respond, and at this time I open up the floor for all the members, and I'll start with our Vice Chair, Rep. Bijato.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Secretary, to
Good morning, sir.
yourself and to your team, and are extending our condolences to your departments, most especially the Division of Agriculture, for your loss in one of your staff. So with that being said, can I get a total list of revolving accounts under DLNR, please? and the amount if possible.
You want to give the number? How many? Stand by. Did you want the number of revolving accounts and how much is in them?
Sure, if the amount's there, but just the revolving accounts would be great for you guys.
So for the Secretary's office, there are 14, and this also includes legislative accounts that are provided to Division of Agriculture to carry out projects. Um, would you like me to go into details on each and every one of them?
No need, Secretary. So just 14 total, and this is inclusive of those local appropriations, correct?
For the
The-
Secretary's office, DFW also has some
So
revolving accounts for license.
VFW's got how many revolving accounts?
Good morning. DFW has 2 revolving accounts that we use for operations, and we have several others that are restricted use.
And then from agriculture,
From agriculture, we have 4. One for animal service, another for soil and water, another for equipment service, and last is the farm plot fees.
Parks, you wanna give us your numbers?
Yeah, we have one revolving account under the Division of Parks and Recreation.
So, Mr. Secretary, I know, and would it be, I guess, would DLNR be in support in continuing the language to allow these accounts to be accessible to your department to move around to allow the usage of these funds for various other programs within the department? Would the department be in support of that continuous language?
Yes, please. Allowing that flexibility allows us to support some of our operational needs where we are short.
All right, thank you for that. And then you had mentioned in one of your slides that I know that we're working with DLNR on the revolving account for the land and survey division, and you also mentioned something about the Cacman plots for the public cemetery. Would DLNR be in support in putting that legislation together into one legislation under DLNR so that we don't have 2 separate legislations for these revolving accounts, so it can, I guess, get to the governor's desk? One signature would cover both needs at the same time.
I think they are uniquely different in their purposes. One specifically is for the cemetery up there in Marpi.
Sure.
For when folks pass away, if there are fees and charges allocated to those, that goes into that account to support maintenance of that
Sure,
area.
sure.
The-
But just under DLNR itself, right? Maybe at a repeal reenactment on those specific sections so that it fits in one legislation, and when it's codified, it's already built into
Sure,
to
yes.
DLNR. If that's something we can work with, I know Cam is working on the legislation for DLNR. Maybe that's something, Cam, we can look at so we can put this stuff together and get this legislation working for you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you for that. Under the MOA or MOU under DPO, are they fulfilling their end of the bargain? According to our conversation with DPO when they were in for the budget hearing, that they're working with your office, Mr. Secretary, and the Director of Parks and Rec, so that they can address the, I guess, maybe not, there's no issues necessarily, but to address of how this payment is going to start working moving forward.
Yes, we have a good working relationship. We're tweaking some things to make it a bit more seamless, but yeah, we're working on those.
All right, no, that's great. The one thing that we had mentioned to the Secretary of DPO, that at the end of the day, although they're designated as tourist sites, they still fall under public lands because you guys don't have full authority of the properties that are designated for your responsibility to make sure that they do understand that part, that maybe down the road when we're able to start charging fees to enter these places, maybe DLNR and DPO can benefit, both sides can benefit from the revenues collected from those potential fees down the road. And I hope we can work with you guys and DPO so we can proceed forward with something like that to make sure that we actually use those funds to upkeep these tourist sites and locations within the CNMI, and so that you have your revolving account, additional revolving accounts, and so this DPO collect their monies for it at the end of the day. And thank you for that, and I yield my time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice. At this time, any members have questions for the Secretary and his team? Let me recognize the floor leader, Representative Marisa Flores.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm just waiting for someone else because that would be 10 minutes would be the shortest budget hearing ever in the history of the CNMI. So
I don't mind holding that record.
I figured I'd raise my hand anyway and ask a question. So several things, and thank you, Secretary, for bringing your team. There's a lot of different divisions under your department that really impacts the community, most especially our resources. So please give me some patience and some grace as I try to navigate through each of the divisions so I get some clarity. We know that the chairman was talking about FTEs that are under your division, or I'm sorry, your department, that needs to be filled. And we also heard from the vice chairman in regard to the revolving funds. My question, let me just start with Parks and Rec. Director Cruz, I'd like to thank you for the tremendous amount of work you and your team have been doing for all of the public areas and maintaining that. I think we've seen a lot of improvement under your supervision and your direction. So I'd like to commend your team and yourself for your leadership, and we hope to continue to support you as you improve these areas for all to enjoy. How many FTEs are under you, sir, that are locally funded?
Right now, budgeted FY25. So it's 36 funded, 4 was $1. But I was happy to get a submission from the governor that they funded all the 40 positions. So right now, everything is occupied. We are, anytime there's a vacant position, we fill it right away because somehow they resign or because of the salary, so there's more opportunities out there. So
Okay.
yeah.
So are you suggesting that your division is okay with the proposal from the governor as of now?
Yes, we're happy that we got that for a position that's funded. That was $1, and we're glad that we got the support.
Okay, thank you. And I, again, thank you for that. And I'm just going to keep going around, okay? Unless I have a follow-up, Director, I'll come back to you. My next question is for Lands and Natural Resources, the registrar or the Mr. Jack, Director Jack? Land registration, there it is. I noticed that you also have several staff under you. One of the things that I believe is a big issue is that you don't have any operational expenses. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
And what types of services does your division provide to the community? And why is it important that operational costs be considered for your division, sir?
Yes, like for the research area that we're providing the community, the businesses, and like the other one is the clearance of map that we use with a private land surveying firm. I think it's a must that it's about time that we have to be charging those.
So in your regulation, do you have the autonomy to work with the secretary to increase those fees?
Yes.
Okay, and will you be doing that this year?
Actually, yes. Actually, we did already the proposal. We're done with the proposal for the fees rate.
Okay,
that
If I
we-
may, Madam Chair.
Yes.
sure.
Yes, we already have a draft version of those fees. We're just gonna work it out and let it go through the process.
Okay, and so I guess there are many indigent families and individuals that seek your assistance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and do they pay this fee as well?
Actually, they're paying it. With
Okay.
most of the payment they did is like a Xerox copy at a rate of 50 cents.
Okay. So maybe would suggest maybe one of the things we can consider if the funding is available or if we can be creative with how we support your area is the court is asking us to fund an indigent fund for I guess it's almost like it works like a what is this department? What do they call the defense attorneys? Anyway, public defender's office. It's very the same, but I can see how a indigent fund, revolving fund, can possibly work for you.
Yes, that's true. And like when it comes to indigenous people, it's just like it's hard for them to pay.
Right, and we know that a lot of probate matters fly through your office when they're trying to get their documents certified. Is that correct?
Yes, but most of the time, Congresswoman, I provide big help to our community, and especially when it comes to this research and making them understand the basis of their need for the probate, and that's a big help that we're providing especially our indigent people, not only the indigent people, but the general community that are needs on this information.
Do you file any of these, do you record any of these documents at the court for a fee for anybody that comes into your office?
Actually, when they're gonna initiate the payment, they have to go up to the treasury first. We have the the form that we fill out how much, then they go up to the treasury and pay from there.
Okay, so you don't have any operational costs to support even fuel and lubrication, do you?
No, not at this time.
All right. Okay. And how much in fuel and lubrication do you think would be appropriate for this body to consider?
We're gonna I think if we have like at least 2005.
Okay. And do you have a vehicle that is under land
Yes,
registration?
We got one.
Okay. And did you budget for repairs and maintenance?
No.
No. Do you have anything under other expenses that you can
No.
use for your operations?
No.
Okay. Secretary, if we can really figure out a way to also aid in assisting this division, I would really appreciate your consideration. Land is a huge issue here within our Commonwealth, and there are a lot of families that need that support from your office. So obviously the chairman will consider how he can, help with this area. but also if you have the powers within your position and you can move money around to at least provide some safeguard so that that office can continue to work and provide services for our community, I would really appreciate that.
Thank you for that, Congresswoman. We do have that flexibility currently, and as Congressman Atto pointed out, the flexibility to use other revolving accounts to support operations where it's critical.
Okay.
And so we've been doing that.
And I
Thank
think
you.
it's critical, Secretary. I get a lot of calls regarding land matters, and it's expensive, not just for the court fees, but even the investigation and that's the work that they do. It's time consuming, and can I ask Mr. Cam, how is your fee schedule set up? Is it by the hour? Is it by document? How do you have that?
It's by the document.
Yeah, it's actually by the document. It's a one-time payment.
How
You know,
much is your proposal?
No, some documents I know we range from anywhere between $20 to $45, depending on the document.
But the research is conducted by Mr. Song Song, Director Song Song, correct?
Yes.
Some-
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Cam, can I recommend that you go back and take a look at that? Because if they're going to be, you can charge a nominal amount also, but the hourly rate there is important for the bigger projects, right? Because a lot of them too would have attorneys, and it would be better if they pay Mr. Song Song and his team as opposed to private counsel that's going to do the investigation, right?
Totally agree, Madam Chair. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to establish a revolving account for the Division of Land Registration and Survey, so that then we're going to once we establish these fees by regulation, that revolving account we're looking for, if we're asking the help of the legislature to establish. So whatever fees we generate from those regulations, we're gonna put it in that revolving account.
All right, so do you anticipate that your proposal will be done by the beginning of the next fiscal year?
We're working on it, and that's actually a timeline we're looking at.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Cam. So I'm going to shift over now. Mr. Chairman, can I continue? I'm going to shift over to invasive species. I've been meeting Mr. McCanny at many CJMT meetings that I've attended. And I'm going to ask for an update because the last CJMT meeting I was present in, one of the biggest discussions was a lot of your federal grants that are being held with the Office of Insular Affairs. Can you give me an update, please?
Sure. Thank you so much for that question, Madam Floor Leader, and thank you so much to the body for giving us this opportunity to speak, especially to the level of invasive species. If you notice, there's several vacancies that should be federally funded through grants provided by OIA, 10 in fact, and those are to help make sure that we have capacities at our borders to safeguard our borders from the incursions of invasive species. And we did this through research. We took a look at the influx of port activities from the military, and we've turned around and maximized funding opportunities that were available to our jurisdiction. And so through that process, we are awarded several grants to fund these FTEs. Right now, they're undergoing NEPA review and compliance, and this is a very new review process that was implemented to OIA grants. And so we are learning how to maximize categorical exclusions because we do use chemicals for mitigation efforts within our inland activities.
Okay.
And so we have received a record for environmental considerations that we're reviewing right now in order to push the NEPA process review forward and start spending down those grant funding.
All right. Do you have any pending awards? Do you have any awards that were supposed to be approved but are still being held up due to, I guess, politics beyond our control?
Right now, all the grants that were are awarded, but are not readily accessible for spend down. So that's the phase in which we're at.
So how long is the wait, do you anticipate?
We're seeing some movement. We've seen a response from OIA regarding records of consideration, environmental consideration. Secretary just signed a couple of those last week, so we are seeing movement slower than we want it to be. But obviously, our conversations at DOD, we're trying to leverage that opportunity to talk about it. But the response I think that we're seeing is that that is not within their purview. So we're trying to look for opportunities to emphasize that that's an urgent need for the CNMI, especially at this time.
Okay, and so with the awards, the FTEs now that you need, would that be supported by those funding sources?
Yes,
Okay, full 100% federal?
correct.
Okay. And then my next question is, you know, when we attended this meeting, part of the discussion were the activity that we have going on in our sister island of Tinian. But what we realized was that their supplies coming in containers tend to just bypass our port here, therefore going straight into the dock in Tinian because that's where they're conducting their activity. Do you, how does that work? When they're there, do you have people in Tinian to do that, or you have to fly people from here to go to Tinian because you don't have a schedule of when their containers are landing, therefore putting an undue hardship of overtime and expenses that we don't even have to incur because of their lack of planning?
Yeah. Right now, visibility on our port efforts are under the jurisdiction of the Customs and Biosecurity team. We are joined at the hip, and we work in partnership with Director Muffness and his team in order to make sure that we're keeping a watchful eye on those activities. I know that they are feeling that the capacity there is insufficient to the DoD military activities that's going on right now. For example, with the turkey shipments that came in last year, 247 containers and only a couple of biosecurity inspectors available at the site. And I like to use this example because it really paints a clear picture of what we are experiencing at the borders. It's, 247 containers, detection of snails. Luckily, it was snails, because if they were walked faster, we'd be in trouble. So from detection to fumigation, it was 19 days. And so if it was 19 days, given an opportunity on the small island of Tinian for LFA or brown tree snake or coconut rhinoceros beetle, we'd be handling a different type of monster.
Right, and it
in
wouldn't
that
be our
island.
problem because we don't have the capacity and they're doing activity. So
Right.
at the end of the day, we have to be the one to correct our own issues.
Right, and so thank you so much for showing up in a lot of these DoD conversations, because I think it's important to highlight and really underscore just what the current status of CNMI biosecurity is and where they can help us make sure that our task force is readily prepared.
Okay, so then one of the discussions that was brought up also was that your department, Invasive Species, is also writing, you guys are pumping out many grants in that division, but you're also supporting FTEs for biosecurity. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how many FTEs will you be supporting under some of these grants?
So these grants that are coming down the pipeline, we expect to fund 6 biosecurity inspectors. We've identified these as positions in our working conversations with Colonel James of the biosecurity team. Also, from what we're seeing, a lot of the times in our conversations, we're always asked, it's really impossible for us to kind of gauge what DoD activities look like for the future. But as soon as we get that, we kind of turn around and do our planning amongst ourselves.
Okay, and would these 6 FTEs be federally funded also?
Correct, but for
100%?
yes. But the problem is it would be for a short time period. So
What is the limited term period?
usually we apply for these grants annually.
Okay, so they get renewed every year?
Right.
So it'll be 1 year fully funded FTE?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. And I just want to make it clear for the record that when we attended the CJMT meeting, we had higher ups of the military indicating to the government of the Commonwealth that no federal grants will be held up and that they will do everything in their power to release these grants because of the negative effect that it would have. So has the Department of Defense and anyone in the CAGMT that made that comment that you and I were there, have any of them committed to their word to ensure that none of these grants will be held up?
Not in the conversations that we've seen, but obviously I'm not privy to the leadership conversations that happen.
Thank you for that question. Yes, through the governor's leadership, shedding light on this concern about biosecurity and invasive species, we were able to get higher folks from Washington, D.C. come out because he's made these at his IGIA or Western. That has been his focal point, is the concern of invasives from these different places coming in relative to DOD operations. And so we are very we're working very closely with these folks, and obviously there's some change, and they've opened up the the notice of funding opportunity for, they've released those awards already.
Okay.
And then we have continued conversation about migrating some of those that we perhaps may no longer be available under OIA to DOD, and they're
Okay.
open to that conversation.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right, that's good. I'm glad that they're making some big efforts to supporting our local capacity, because as we see it and we know, the developer's tax is a big, big question right now. And I'm doing everything in my power with at least having correspondence with our delegate to fix this matter, because not only are we're losing funds, but our sister island of Guam with Senator Ada have made that very clear that we need to make these adjustments, and so we're having that discussion. But when you're talking about land and natural resources, it's never enough, because this is the only home we got. Okay, so Secretary, can I reshift now? Thank you. I'm going to reshift to you real quick. And how many submerged land agreements do you have with the DLNR? Yeah, do you have any submerged land agreements that are active?
Not yet. We have some that are in process.
Okay.
And we're working out the details on that. But none from DLNR, no.
Okay. So Public Law 7-20 gave some funds to DLNR, and this is in regard with, and I don't know if this is active or not, but can you just double check on this? Because there was funds that were supposed to be available. Public Law 7-20, and the lease was with Apex International for 40 years. It has been 34 years, and there's 7 years left on this lease.
Okay.
Okay, so can you just double check and make sure that they're in compliance, if this is even an active lease agreement? But it should be active because it's a public law. And that is, they only have 7 years left. And this is a location that sits right across the Haraguchi Building West and the Garpan Catholic Church. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, so please double check. And then my second question is, I didn't notice on your
Presentation,
sir, the Garpan Street Market, the public market. What is the current situation there? How much money does that receive? Do they even pay anything on that? I mean, can you give me some history with the Garpan public market?
Thank you. I'll direct that to Director Ogomorovi.
Sure.
Very good question, and I'm sorry to report that I do not have updated information regarding the market. However, it's still open, it's still surviving, and our farmers are still bringing their fruits and vegetables to sell there. For FY24, there were 12,374 customers who visited the market. And during that period, the sales was 131,655. That was the last information I received from the market.
Okay, and where do these funds go?
They help pay for the cost of running that market, and they also have they pay for expenses like fuel, fuel. They even help pay for use the money to pay for electricity and supplies, Xerox papers, and whatever basic necessities they need to pay for to support the operation of the market.
All right, so the public market is a nonprofit organization? Or is it funded, is that staff under DLNR?
All the employees there are government employees, with the exception of one which is being paid for by a federal program from the senior citizen, I think, Title V.
Title V, oh, so you're working together with Office on Aging?
Yeah, as much as possible, our manager, public market manager, would go and solicit assistance from other agencies so that there will be enough hands on deck, so to speak, to help move things within the market.
Okay, so under your, you said 4 are generally funded, is that correct? General fund funded, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, are they in your budget proposal under agriculture?
Let me see. They should be. Yeah, one of them is
Just give me the position.
their position. One is the clerk typist. There's 2 clerk typists, 3. We just hired one who is a food processor. That is federally funded.
So the food processor is the one that's federally funded?
Yes, and and the manager, whose title is farmer rancher coordinator.
Okay,
That one is locally funded.
this is locally
position.
funded.
Yeah, so altogether there's 4.
So 3 are local and 1 is federal.
Yes,
So the clerk typist, 3, and the farmer rancher coordinator are are locally funded.
locally funded. Yeah.
Okay, so, have you considered maybe changing their category from clerk typist 3 to marketing manager or something like that? I mean, this is a business that requires some expertise in moving product.
Right. Yeah. I think we were supposed to do it at one time, but when we were looking at the classification system at OPM, there's no such a position for marketing. I guess government is not involved or does not involve itself in selling stuff. So we're kind of like trying.
If I may, Congresswoman, thank you for that question. It is not an ideal situation we're in right now. Ideally, it would be run by a private entity, a group, an association, and we are hopeful that the current makeup of the farmers are going to organize and eventually take that on. But this is one of those things where the entity was flailing and it needed support, and one of the administration stepped in and say, you know, we need to keep this moving. There is some value to the community for it, and so the government stepped in. But we are working towards trying to
Get away
remove
from that.
the government from that so that it can be run.
And thank you,
properly.
Secretary, because really I don't see that this should not be the responsibility of the
Agree.
coffers. When you're looking at, having that be a private and then come into a MOU with the investor to retain these individuals, right? So then, I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. The total net sales was 131,655 for FY 2024. And none of this was used to pay for payroll?
No. There, no, not that I know of.
Okay, all right. Ms. V, is there a revolving account for that?
I just ran a revolving account report, and I don't see it. So we need to inquire with either the Department of Finance. Where does the funds go to?
Yeah.
There should be a bank account established for revenues for sales collected for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do have a bank account for the money that is being generated through the sales.
All right, so who's your signatory on do you guys run checks?
Yeah,
Who's your signatory?
the manager and the secretary for the organization.
Okay, I think if I deeper into this, Mr. Director Ogumoro, that would not be wise of me at this time. Miss Vicky, this really needs to be rectified, because if they're collecting funds and they don't have a revolving account, I don't know what the legality of this is, but I don't see government employees signing off checks, as this is a division of the government, of an executive branch. The only signatory and expenditure authority by law, if provided to them, is either the secretary or the governor himself or the Secretary of Finance. So can you please have these conversations with Director Ogomoro, and please help them if they need to, and work with this committee, because that can be placed in a interest bearing, right? And we need to figure out how to best utilize that money so when they transfer over, there's some seed money, because there's no more money to keep giving seed all the time. So if you can please work with them, I'd really appreciate that. And so, okay. I think that's it for now. Vice Chair, thank you, Secretary. I'll go ahead and yield my time.
Thank you, Rep. Flores, and I believe Rep. Ogle was supposed to be next, but I'll recognize Rep. Ogle, and then I'll have Rep. Benavente right after. But before we move forward, I think a lot of the questions that were brought up by Floor Leader are legislation questions that are being written up right now regarding these accounts that you were asking for on the fees. For example, for land and survey, they need a legislation to allow them to create that revolving account. Regarding the 7-20, I believe that's the Saipan Sipashore lease agreement from back in those days, and that's one of the legislations also that we're working with the LNR to allow them to get a piece of that money for submerged land leases, because at this period right now, they may submerged lands may go to the LNR, but all the funding collected from those submerged land leases go to DPL, and at the end of the day, it's submitted to MPOT for investment purposes. So I know that there's legislation that's coming forth regarding those specific accounts, so we can work on that. And then we can also work with the concern that you brought up with the Director of Agriculture on that, the revolving account, so that we can make that workable for them as well, and be accountable for those funds. So with that, Rep. Ogle, please.
Thank you, Vice. Good morning, Secretary and to all your directors and staff that are present today. Um, this is regarding the federal funds under the Marine Conservation Plan that was federally funded under Western Pacific Sustainable Fisheries Fund. This grant is granted annually, or do you guys apply for this grant annually?
No, ma'am. That is funding that was negotiated through the Western Pacific Fishery Management Council that allowed the CNMI, Guam, and American Samoa to sell their quotas, fishing quotas, to Hawaii Longline Association. In 2023, the head of U.S. delegation to the Tuna Commission negotiated away that ability. So we no longer have that. The last funding is 2024, and
So
it's,
that-
it's
so
been
that's-
discontinued.
So that's the last of it, and
Yes.
is there a balance in there?
Yes, there's some projects that have been approved that have yet to be executed. It's in grant processing at the federal level.
Yeah, I believe your department was granted as a whole, Sinamai, in Sinamai level, right?
Yes.
You guys collect data from Road and Tinian?
We collect hunting and fishing license
correct,
data.
Yes, yeah. So that way, Road and Tinian should also benefit from this, right?
Yeah,
They're eligible to,
Oh, you mean with the SFF funding?
yes.
I believe that if they submitted proposals, it would go through the Secretary's office for processing with the Federal Reviewing Agency.
But they can also qualify because it's been applied on a Sinamai level. I believe that this funding includes monitoring observer programs, habitat restoration, enforcement patrols, and community-based conservation, which Road and Tinian does this too, right?
Thank you. Yes, short answer, yes. They can qualify so long as they have, they meet the objectives established under the Marine Conservation Plan. We have objectives.
Do they receive a share?
Not at the moment.
Not at the
But,
moment. I believe ever since it started, they have not received any share.
I have to,
I don't believe we've ever received a request from Rhoda and Tinian for a project to be funded. Because
Do
they
they
get,
have to make the request, but
they-
they're
they do.
eligible, they benefit from
but
this one?
it's still considered like a federal grant. We still submit a proposal that gets vetted at the federal level. And then when it's approved, they will issue a subaward to the CNMI, and that's when we are able to access the
Because
funds.
I think that they can, they can apply for the grant, but because it has to be applied on a, territorial level, it's considered as a whole. So, they're not asking much for, for their share, but at least enough for their fuels and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate that it's been discontinued, correct?
that's correct, yes.
So with the current funding balance, what's your balance in this one? And I know there are line items that's listed for the project, like for example, 50,000 for the territory-wide fishery capacity building scholarship. What is this scholarship for?
The folks who were members of the Westpac Council, in order to entice participation of our students into the field of biology and natural resource, they invested from that funding, allocated, I think, 50,000 to supporting students from the jurisdictions who are going into that field of study at the university level.
And Road and Tinian qualifies also?
Yes.
students? Okay. And then, what is this Curida vessel fishery development, 145,000?
Is that funding for,
Say, under that 748,000 for fiscal year 2024?
that is to support the vessel that was purchased through that, through the SFF for maintenance and fuel and things like that.
Okay. Would you be able to at least help a little to spare a share for Road and Tinian in this funding?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We'll need to work with them to provide some, it's gotta be specific, and it has to meet the
And I'm
objectives.
sure they can provide that, yes.
Yeah.
Also, joint enforcement agreement, this is a separate funding, right?
That is
or-
correct, yes.
And your department or as a whole gets about 800K a year annually?
Break it down.
I believe we only got about 100,000 for
sorry, what's that?
100,000 in FY '24, which is what we are using in this fiscal year. And this coming year, we heard that there's 120,000 available.
120 for this year?
Correct.
For 2025?
Yes. that we'll
So
be
your
using
guys
for
are
26.
using the funds for 2024 right now?
Correct.
Okay. But you're expecting 120K before the end of the year, maybe?
Well, we have to submit a grant application, and then we will have it available in FY '26.
Okay. And what does this benefit? How does that benefit Road and Tinian?
So the NOAA law enforcement branch is unable to monitor all of the waters in its jurisdiction. So what it does is it enters into cooperative agreements with the government agencies who have the authority to enforce those type of laws, and that deputizes those officers. And in exchange for that work that we cover on their behalf, we invoice them.
So for example, if there's a situation in Road and Tinian, then they will get also a share on that one?
If there was a concern where we had to deploy officers, we would absolutely be able to draw down from the funds to support that
The local,
effort. Yes.
the other two senatorial districts, okay.
If I may just add a little bit to that, this particular program was discontinued for several years, and since we've been back, this administration came in, we reached out and restarted it, and now we have a little over 100,000. But it goes to doing a joint enforcement for our folks to carry out federal policy enforcement at the marine level. And so we're still working out some of the kinks of getting back into it. And definitely we'll reach out to our folks out there in Rhoda and Tinian to get qualified, the officers to become qualified as NOAA enforcement also.
Okay. You have a revolving fund called commercial vessel, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, and what is that, what kind of collection do you guys, what kind of vessels are you talking about? Does this include
That's the
like those fuel tanks vessels?
This-
Like, for
this
example,
is-
the mobile and,
No, this was revenue for the Outer Cove Marina when it was still collecting berthing fees and,
commercial
Yeah.
vessel, okay. I'm not sure if you're aware, but whenever that fuel tank, ports in Rhoda at the East Dock, who collects that? Is it CPA or DLNR? CPA collects that?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, DLNR doesn't get any revenues from activity on Rhoda.
okay, all right. And so I know when we were in Rhoda and Tinian, the directors brought up, their concern in raising like tractor fees and services. That's regulated, right? So they can just make the request to your department to increase it?
Is it? Tractor fees?
Tractor fees?
No, for Rhoda and Tinian.
It-
Right now, they're charging $12 per hour, I believe per hour, yes, for the tractor services. And they wanted to increase it. Do they need to make a request through your department, the Department of Illinois?
Not that I'm aware of. They can probably revise the regulation to increase it.
Okay, because
Without-
from what they said, that they need to write a letter to the secretary to
Oh,
make
yeah?
a request, so not sure.
They need your approval, I guess.
Because it's-
We'll look into that matter. There are some things that are separated by municipality, and so there are some questions that we need to address maybe through.
And I think I told them to reach out to your department. So just wanted
Okay,
to
we'll be on the
clarify that.
lookout for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all. Are you?
Thank you, Representative Ogo. We now recognize Representative Roma Benavente.
Thank you, Chairman and Secretary. Welcome to the House, and I like to go to Mr. Gomero because I know him and I tend to freely communicate with him. I just like to ask on your revolving funds. As you know, throughout the year, how much revolving funds do accumulate in totality with all the different functions that you hold, like on all the farming area, as far as Tori often nalun gi jomuno department, quanto na revolving funds in Tsutsuli? 4 na revolving funds.
4 revolving funds.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, uno
Yeah.
para animal section,
Mm-hmm.
soil and water, equipment services, and farm plot.
Oh, do you lump all these revolving funds together at the end of the day? Do you lump it together so you can use it on your own capacity based on your program?
Yeah. We can use these funds whenever we have to, but provided that they're part of what the legislation calls for. For instance, animal service. Cannot use animal service funds to, say, lease a bulldozer
Yeah.
or a tractor to provide clearing services give farm plot, because that is not kind of legitimate way of it has nothing to do with animal services.
So you
Yeah,
mean to
but
say you
we
separate
have that
it,
discretion.
You separate it.
Yeah.
You separate it. Yeah, and the reason why I ask you that question is that, you know, you do good over there, and I can attest to it. You do good. You do good over there as far as managing the place. Thing about it is that the services, for example, like the equipment services for the outside farmers. I'm not talking about farmers that are controlled by your department.
Outside, yeah.
Not on the plots, but outside farmers would like to, rent or pay a fee to rent a tractor or anything like that. And unfortunately, it seems like you don't have the capacity to do that part of the service because you're lacking in purchasing the equipment or purchasing the parts or whatever that's needed to accommodate those other outside farmers. Because really, when you look at it, yes, we have the farmers in there that are under the plots, but outside farmers also would also a lot of it in a concerted effort would really make the economy more helpful for the people, as far as the family is concerned. And that's the reason why a lot of people are asking me why the Department of Agriculture said it's just the lack of fundings.
Yeah. Congressman, we love to provide them with tractor services.
Yeah.
But our only problem is we do not have a trailer to mobilize our tractor to these farm plots out there in the community. And we do not want our tractors to be
Walking on the highway.
on the road, on the paved road, because the tires are not designed for paved roads.
Yes.
And so it's going to cost us an arm and a leg if we start doing that. And the rental is what, $20 an hour?
20,
And,
25, stuff
so
like that.
it's one of these days, though, we'll be able
Yeah.
to collect and pay a tractor, a trailer for us to utilize to provide our people with tractor services who are residing outside the Kangman area.
The reason why I ask you that is because do you get federal programs for those kind of
Yeah.
can you use federal funds for that?
applicable, I've charged all the divisions to be creative in utilizing federal grants to support things that make sense to do so, that is allowable under the grant. Yeah, instead of using local funds, look at the federal grants first. If it's an allowable cost, then
Yeah.
do that instead.
And I think that's the challenges with a lot of the natural resources area as far as your department is concerned. Because it not only embraces the farm, it embraces the whole entire function of our economy over here in Saipan, our culture, our everything. And the reason why I'm saying this is that I'm even, and come to think of it, I did came and I asked you for that information as far as getting a tractor from point A to point B, and you did tell me what your challenges were at that time, and that's why I came up with that. So it's an awakening for you, for your department, and for basically everybody, that we are challenged with this kind of circumstances that we're in. We want to move ahead, but it's hard for us to move ahead. We have to do something. And I'm so glad that, Cam, you're working with the secretary, and you have a lot of content knowledge as far as the law and the regulations that could, that could really help out the department. I just hope, Director, that, we'll try to find enough resources to accommodate the needs of that, to service also the public, the entire public, instead of the farm plots only, because there are other people do side farm, properties on their own properties and stuff like that. So I just ask you that. But anyway, the next round I like to go to. I like to go to Fish and Wildlife. My favorite, Rose, the director for Fish and Wildlife. I know you've been in Fish and Wildlife for a long time. When I was there, I think you came there too, right? So I'm just concerned because it seems like, does the CO, the conservation officer, still paid under local funds?
Yes, they are.
And biologists, the fisheries and the fisheries section and the wildlife sections are still paid under federal?
Correct.
Fully federal?
Correct.
Are there any other funds that could be afforded to, federal funds that could be afforded to the COs as far as, go ahead.
Thank you for that question. It's been something that Secretary and I have been working on since he's assumed office. We recently received a cooperative agreement with the Department of Defense to help the Tinian Fish and Wildlife Office, with patrolling the military leased areas. And we are working with them to allow us to use a portion of that to help augment the current salary schedule, because we're losing officers to like DPS or DFEMS because our salary is so low.
And that's the concern that that's the concern that I'm alluding to, is trying to come up with that. And because it was brought to my attention that, I don't know, one or two of your employees resigned or something because of the, I don't know what really transpired within the division, but that's basically what happens, is that I was then aware that your employees quit, and I was more or less thinking of the lack of fundings and the capacity to augment their situation as far as what they need as far as being a CEO. So the reason, the rationale behind that is that I would like to ask you, how much fee or you sell permits, right? Like fishing permits and stuff like that, and fees you charge the fishermen. So, how much do you collect as far as like Fish and Wildlife in itself?
Right now, our revolving count is in the negative, and perhaps we collect only about 3,000 a year. The fee is very nominal, and even with that nominal fee, we have a lot of public outcry that it's very hard for them to sustain their families with their community. So when we look at raising fees, we also have to take into consideration that the people who are accessing our resources are the ones who are struggling the hardest. So we don't really raise a lot. There is a lot of value in maintaining the salaries on the local account because every dollar we spend for our enforcement officers is used to leverage justifying a full federal grant for the Coral Reef Initiative program, which funds, I believe, perhaps maybe 10 to 20 staff, because the feds will double every dollar that the CNMI spends. So we every year now, for the last 2 years, we've been submitting certifications. So there was a push to try to migrate all of the locally funded staff onto federal accounts, but then we were looking at if we leave it this way, the CNMI has a greater net return, and then we could now work with the DOD to use the alternate funding source to try to rectify the disparity between our salary packages and that of our sister law enforcement agencies.
And the reason why I like to ask you to on that is that I know you're charging fees for the talaza, and talajeros are not complaining for the fees. They are not complaining against the amount of money that is being charged on them, as far as the permit is concerned. But what's really eating on them is that they go out and they try to catch fish, but there's more rod and reel fishermen, pole fishermen, that goes out there and they catch fish too, like the talajero does, but yet there's no fees for that.
We are actually working on regulations to assess a fee for all hook and line, so rod and reel or just the drop hook and line.
Even the bottom, for example, even the reel, for example, and I'm sorry to say this, but even the reel, even though the one in the boat, even for bottom fishing, I think those should be in order for you to maintain your COs, your enforcement and everything. You gotta beef up something. Revisit the regulations and innovate yourself. If whatever possible. I'm not trying to tell you. I'm just recommending.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Revisit that portion and then come up with your own analysis and see the pros and cons of what the effect would be. But I'm just giving you an upfront information that the talajeros are being charged with fees and everything. I'll tell you one scenario. Lolo, for example, Lolo Beach. It's been fished 24/7, from 7 in the morning to 7 the next morning, because the fisherman of the daytime goes over there and fish, and then the fisherman in the nighttime goes over there and fish to the next morning. So the fish don't even have a right to live over there anymore. That's what I'm saying. That's how it is. So there's a lot of species of fish that we normally catch as a delicacy, hasta lazero, no. But now you rarely see those kind of species. So in order for us to mitigate, to try to come up to the point where the fishermen would harvest those type of species, or to bring back this type of species back to its capacity, you need the enforcement. And without the enforcement, we cannot do that. But without resources to pay the enforcement, nothing can happen. And in order for us, it's just to innovate ourselves and revisit the regulation, the policy, and come up with a better solution. I just want to make that as a comment, Secretary. Don't feel any, I'm not going against Fish and Wildlife, or I'm not going against dealer nor anything. I'm just trying to say what is the situation that we're in. We're now in a budget crunch, the entire government, and we have to, each of us have to find a way to try to innovate ourselves, to try to look for solutions, find solutions for the issue. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Roma Benaventia. I now recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here and your team. Going back to parks and recs, you have 40 FTs as for now, right? So my question is, how many out of these 40 are partially or fully funded by your department?
None.
None?
They're all partially funded.
They are partially?
All of them, yes.
All of them?
Yes.
100% by your department?
Yes.
Not 50% out of MVA or
No,
any other
it's
department?
50% for
50%.
the MOA.
MOA,
for
yes.
DPL.
Okay. Does that happen also in the second and third district and the first and third district?
I am unaware of that. Yeah, I'm not aware.
Yeah,
of that,
so,
if
so
that is the same.
it's happening here in the first and the third district, which is Saipan.
Yes.
But this is not happening in the first and second.
Not to my knowledge, I am unaware.
Yeah. So how many out of 40? All of them?
Yes.
All of them are partially funded.
Yes.
Okay. For the Tinen Marina, what is the update of that? This
just
under the
received-
Fish and Wildlife Division.
As it relates to damage, construction, FEMA funding. We just got notice that there's been a change in the requirement of 90 to 10%. The government needs to put up 10. It's now 100%, and they're moving forward with going with a Blue Pacific to make those repairs.
All right. I just want that to be on the record, Mr. Secretary. So, Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Thank you, Representative Patrick San Nicolas. Recognize Representative Denita Yangtemay.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Secretary and your directors. I would like to ask some questions with the Director of Lands and Survey. So I notice here that you have eight NOPs, right? Are they all filled? There's one that says vacant over here, the Commonwealth Surveyor.
Actually, that's a newly bounced it.
Okay, and you requested for 10. 10, where was that? NOPs, right? But then Governor proposed 8. So has this been filled? Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not like the
so you
Commonwealth
have
Surveyor.
one surveyor.
Yeah.
Surveyor 3. How many surveyors are needed to survey?
Actually, when it comes to surveying, actually we need like the surveyor 3 and 2 more assistants, because the surveyor 3 cannot perform the survey work.
Yes, right.
By
That's correct, right?
only
Otherwise,
himself.
he'll be running from here to
Yeah,
there.
he needs at
over.
least 2 surveying assistants that
Okay.
will help him.
Yes, so that's where the 10
Yes.
comes in, no? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now, for fish and wildlife, how many boats do you have? I missed that one, on the thing.
Our fisheries research section has 3 now, and they are constructing one more, mid-size. Our enforcement has 2 vessels and then the Carita that we are currently maintaining.
Okay, wow. So in the spirit of brotherhood or camaraderie, are you willing to share that with Nemo? Your boat?
Always practice extending an invitation to work with NEMO, especially when we have Northern Islands expeditions where it's fully federally funded. We work with them because they may have needs to transport things to and from the island. So we partner with them all the time.
Okay. So for boats, the boats that are owned by people, do they need to be licensed, or is it called or registered?
Yes, I believe they have to register with boating safety, not Fish and Wildlife.
Boating safety?
Yes.
Oh, boating safety,
Yes.
okay. All right, okay then. I'll ask boating safety next time. Thank you. Invasive species. Oh, it's not really a question. I just want to share that I met up with a Palawan legislator sometimes way back. And they said they have a way to eradicate the rhinoceros beetle. So you may want to visit Palau and, learn their magic. Yes. And Mr. Secretary, I understand that you all moved from lower base. Your plan, Baba Kayuta, Yumi, Abu Pungulo Fal?
So we've been working with the governor's office. Project 1 was to move everybody out of there because it's become a health hazard for the staff. So I dispersed the divisions that were utilizing that building: Secretary's office, Lands and Survey, and Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation have FEMA funding to renovate or rebuild their office space in Esperito, and we have 2 office spaces dedicated that I'm dedicating to Lands and Survey in the housing block up here, the government offices. And we're working with the administration to see if we can figure out a larger area for the department. So it's an ongoing thing. But yes, there are plans.
Thank you. Yes, because I think we need to, especially for lands and surveys, we need to put all the documents where it's safe, right?
Yes.
From these super typhoons and all this stuff.
That's
the
true.
flooding that's coming, maybe. Thank you. And Parks and Recs, what can I say? I just want to thank you for everything. And thank you for cleaning up Precinct 3, especially since I'm from there. Sorry, you guys have to thank him yourself. Okay, okay, thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Representative Denita Yangtumay. Just a couple follow-up. First, with Director Gumaro on the revolving funds, right? You mentioned you have 4, right? So with animal, how much is your fees for that? What are the fees you're assessing for animal health?
Health permits,
Yes.
importation of dogs, cats, even vaccine.
Yeah.
They vary. Even providing license to visiting veterinarians.
Okay. So on an annual basis, with all these fees that you have just mentioned, how much are we accumulating annually? Average. I know it fluctuates because it's dependent on the services requested. Just average of your on top of your head on
Maybe between 1 and 2,000.
1 and 2,000 on an annually basis, so 2K. How about the soy on water? Just average annually.
10, 1,200, 20, maybe about $200
on a year.
Yeah.
$200. And the equipment services that you are providing for the farmers, how much are you accumulating annually on that?
We're charging 20, maybe
An hour, right?
yeah, 500, 12. So that's probably 120, 100 to 200 a month, I think.
A month, so, okay. So, yeah, 24 grand a year, no? Is it?
If
2,400 a year, right?
yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
And then your farm plot fees.
Right now we have 15 farmers. You multiply that by 200. That will be what?
Yeah. Okay.
Close to 3,000?
Yeah.
No?
And then with the inventory of the equipment that you have, what is the inventory? You said you have a tractor.
Yeah.
What else do you have?
A tractor, wood splitter, a mulching machine, several bush cutters.
Mulching machine.
I think we. Yeah. Oh, there. At the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two riding motors. Okay.
Cheaper, yeah. Bush cutters, blowers, and one.
And all of these equipments, they all equal up with $20 per hour?
No, only the tractors.
Only the tractors is what you're charging? You don't charge for the other equipments, capital equipments?
No, this is ours. We use them to clean the area and so forth and so on. But we do not want to list out the wood chipper because it's a very dangerous machine. We don't want
Okay.
Anybody to get hurt or
Okay, thank you
worse,
for that
died.
clarification. And which moves me to Parks and Rec. I too, from Precinct 2, want to thank you, Director, for all your work within the precinct. But question also with regards to FEMA, because some of these parks are under your custody, right? And so some of these parks right now are still pending FEMA approval, perhaps, with the Office of Public Assistance Office. Can you update this body on those other parks that are still pending that you are custodian of?
Okay, right now, there's only one under FEMA, which is the, if I'm not mistaken, Susupi Beach Park.
Yes.
Right now, I had a conversation with Patrick Guerrero. They're on the bidding process to fix the 3 cottages, 1 long pavilion, and the stage. That's under FEMA project.
Right. And did the figures change? Because I know that at that time when it was assessed, perhaps now, with the inflation of goods, does that impact the project when you were having this up-to-date conversations with Public Assistance Office?
Okay, so regarding all those with the contractors and what, I stay away from the process. So public assistance takes care of everything, and they never mention about any cost going beyond what is allocated for that project.
Okay. So right now, the update that you have from Public Assistance Office is that they're on the process of bidding that project out?
Yeah, that's one of the projects that was mandated. Is including our project at Asperito, where public assistance has to start processing that, or we might lose the grant. This is part of the FEMA project that was the governor's mentioning to get those things rolling, because we don't want to lose those funds that we don't have right now.
Okay. Thank you for that update. And I know that maybe perhaps the whole members of the committee and the department knows that Region Director Bob Fenton had came here in the cinema and had given the office itself perhaps 6 months to try to finish this pending 120 some millions that are not yet obligated, and we are hoping that, and we thank you for that update, that things are moving forward as we are running out of time with that 6 months. Perhaps as we speak right now, we're down to perhaps almost 4 months in trying to obligate these funds. So thank you for that response, and it leads me to a follow-up also question, Secretary. I know that Mr. McCanny mentioned about you guys are planning to work with Customs and Biosecurity to fund 6 of their employees, right? That's ongoing, right? And but for now, what is the SOP right now? Like, if, for instance, if there is a brown tree snake found in Seaport, what is the protocol, since you don't have a staff actually that under your department that is actually working right now there? What's the protocol? They intercept, they call you guys step in and take over from there?
So it's a matter of access and who has access up there. The jurisdiction for port of entry belongs to the biosecurity that it used to be quarantine, is now biosecurity.
Right.
The brown tree snake is a separate entity in that when the issue presented itself and the devastation on Guam, was expressed to everybody,
right,
they saw that, yeah, there is great value in allowing access for the brown tree snake program to
Absolutely.
be at the ports. And so through CPA security, we were able to get them access to inspect the wheel wells of the planes and be also present at the ports, at the seaport, when vessels come in from Guam, specifically just brown tree snake. We have access to that. And then through the invasive species program, we're working closely with biosecurity, customs, and get feedback whenever things happen and if they need support.
When they inspect those containers, right?
Yes, and so yeah, we've been aware when they have little fire ants come in, they made sure to contact us as well, get us notified.
So none of your employees under your department or specifically under Fish and Wildlife are being deputized as we speak to kind of enforce the invasive species?
Only the brown tree snake program under my department.
Only the brown trees.
Yeah.
But the other invasive species, it's a case by case.
That's correct.
Whenever there is inspection and they cannot find some insects and all that, they give you guys immediately a call, and then when you guys come in, you guys take over. That's the protocol?
No, we
Is
don't
that-
take over. We work with to resolve the issue.
Resolve this.
So if there's the need for
In
more
fumigation and all that to
fumigation,
kill
yes.
the species, or?
The jurisdiction remains with biosecurity.
Yes.
Yes.
But
But
they call you guys in, and then, because I know that Customs and Biosecurity are not specialized on this kind of invasive. You guys are the ones that are specialized. So perhaps your expertise are perhaps needed also to guide them. So maybe, Director, you wanted to chime in?
Yes, yeah, thank you. Our brown tree snake team works closely with the Customs and Quarantine Office to make sure that they are able to be scheduled for inspections on all ports of entry. But they also make a habit of contacting the Invasive Species Program anytime they identify. Just last week or the week and a half ago, they had 2 occasions where they found beetles.
Right.
And so they immediately notified the invasive species team so that they can activate the rapid response.
Okay. So that's the protocol. Okay. Thank you for that response. And then last, before we open up again for some of the members, Ms. V, I know that we mentioned earlier that there are efforts, right, to kind of maximize in federal grants, right? So in the under agriculture, I see here in the worksheet that the position of Federal Program Coordinator 3, it says here that 60% is actually funded locally, and perhaps the 40% is funded federally. So my question is, are there efforts to try to kind of switch this and make it 100% federally, since the position itself speaks a lot about federal Program Coordinator 3?
It is recommended that the department absorb through their federal programs. However, if there is any restrictions to the federal program that it has to be partially matched, then that's where the general fund comes in.
Okay, so there are instances that requires a matching of local funds and federal funds for some position.
Yes, yes, sir, but I believe that there is that opportunity to fully
Maximize,
fund this particular position under the federal funds.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that response. We're still open for any questions from the members. Let me recognize Floor Leader Representative Marisa.
Thank you, Chairman. Secretary, we have, I think I should be done, maybe just two questions, but with the Western Fisheries Council, can you give us some updates? Have any revenues been forwarded down to the Commonwealth, or what's the status on our participation with this management council in regards to our fisheries and our waters?
I am unclear of the question of funding.
So we sit as a member in the Western Fisheries Council, correct?
Yes.
All right, and because this is a long time system that we are a part of with our neighboring islands in the Blue Continent, we know that they fish within our jurisdiction also. The CNMI contributes to this council. And I know that there's some money that could be given to the CNMI, is that correct? Through this participation in this management system?
So the body itself is set up to create management, fishery management policy. The mechanism for funding comes through the what is it? Yes, the Magnuson-Stevens that set up the council. The Sustainable Fisheries Fund, the MCP, that is a creature that was created out of negotiation among the members to allow, there was a need at the time for Hawaii Longline to increase their quotas, and so they negotiated a way to do that for us to receive, to sell our quota to the Hawaii Longline Association. Other mechanisms include if there was cases that occurred within our jurisdiction, like illegal fishing by foreign countries, and they were captured and prosecuted, the funding, the fee that comes from that will automatically come to the jurisdiction. The thing happened at. But it's not set up as a funding mechanism in itself.
Okay, so when they purchase our fish, right, from our waters, where does that go?
The ability to sell our quota, purchase our fish?
Well, the ability to...
So the quota itself,
right?
they're not coming here to fish.
Okay.
We're selling our quota, so it increases their ability to fish over there in Hawaii.
All right. So how much is our quota?
It was, I believe, 2 tons? 2 or 3 tons.
2 or 3,000?
Tons.
Tons, oh, okay. Well, that's a lot of fish. Okay. And so we're still actively participating, and you are a member of that system, correct?
Congresswoman Ogo brought this up earlier, and I mentioned that that ability to sell our quotas ended in 2023.
Oh, boy.
So we are actively looking for other ways of doing that. And one of the charges I'm given by the governor is to engage aggressively with our federal partners.
Okay.
And I also sit on the Tuna Commission representing the CNMI and invite folks to come explore our waters to fish. There is a mechanism with the federal government to allow foreign flags to come fish here. And it's just a matter of having an interest. There are interests to do that, and we're looking forward to trying to establish a fisheries industry for the CNMI.
So if there is an interest for that, then obviously that would be, again, a lease or some kind of MOU or maybe a public law, or is that how that would be, I guess, completed, that negotiation? Would it be with you, DLNR, and the investment, or would that also be sanctioned by this body to give you this autonomy to do that?
Under the Magnuson-Stevens Act, it would require for the governor to trigger
Okay.
this policy, and it would be a communication from the governor to the United States State Department.
Okay.
And through that that process, we'll be able to establish how that will run.
Okay, that's wonderful. Then that will give us some ability to create another funding source to augment the shortage, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you for that. And then my last question, I guess would have to be with, I'm going to go back to land registry. Have you identified, in this new building, are the documents that are in your custody have a greater chance for preservation as it was when it was down there next to the basketball court?
Yeah, that's true, but now, right now they're both in the containers.
Okay,
And there's few in our small office.
okay. So we're not gonna move these things? Can we move them, Director Song Song?
Like earlier, the secretary said there's a 2 designated building up here in the Capitol Hill.
Okay, so that's where you're gonna move all your
Yeah,
stuff?
Like the other, that's why we have 2 buildings, so the one building there strictly for all these documents.
Okay, so did you plan in your submission, in your budget proposal, any kind of equipment that would assist you in preservation? Like maybe, I do believe you guys had like a scanner that could scan these maps. Is that
Yeah,
still available to you?
Yes.
Does
we
that
need-
still work?
Yeah, actually it's down, and I think we need a scanner and computers too, because in order to upgrade all this information, of course, we need computers.
Okay. So in terms of land, so how many computers do you think you need?
At least we need 3 more.
3 more. And the
Yes.
scanner that you're talking about, is this the one that kind of like is on this mechanism and it just scans through the wall down, or how does what?
No, actually
Because I've
it's-
seen your maps. Your maps are
Yeah.
huge.
There is, it's a long one, it's a long machine that it can actually scan all these.
So how much, since it's
like
not
the
working
maps
right
too,
now,
We need to scan all those maps.
since it's not working right now, Director, how much would it cost to put that back up to par again so that you
We
can
need
scan all of
about
these documents?
Maybe like 5,000.
5,000, okay. And you still don't have a revolving, so we're hoping that at the grace of our Secretary of DLNR, that you guys can get some relief, but we would also have to do what we can with this body to create a revolving fund for you to do that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you by any means have, do you and the court share the same inventory when it comes to land maps?
Actually, we should buy with, what's that, work together with the court, but actually the court have their own fees too, that, they charge. They charge for everything, like the document, the maps.
So does the court have the same land documents as you?
Not really,
Okay,
because when they establish the law, right now, the court is the one recording all the land
Correct.
documents and the maps itself.
right. So you, that poses a problem.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna yield my time, sir. I think I'd like to have a discussion with you, sidebar. Thank you, Chairman. I yield my time.
Okay, thank you, Representative Marisa, for a follow-up. Let me recognize the Vice and then Representative Vincent Odon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director, so we're looking at $5,000 for a scanner and all other equipment, or about maybe total of $8,000 for all equipment.
Yes.
How about, I know that a lot of our property mapping and listings are based out of Hawaii. Is there any funneled money down towards DLNR, or specifically to Land and Survey, from the archive office in Hawaii that would assist in staffing and equipment for DLNR itself, for honestly under Land and Survey?
Maybe we can take a look on that.
Yes, I know that you guys would reach out to them as well, right? Because I know the public lands reach out and work with the archives in Hawaii in regards to land matters. Matter of fact, a lot of the running properties with DPL where staffers were sent out to Hawaii to train for months using the information that they have there that is connected to the cinema. So I wonder if some of those potential grants can reach out far this way to assist in maybe taking care of that one the one of the positions, and maybe making that position a federally mandate position, so that they pay for the surveyors, for example, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to rely on their mapping to be utilized over here and use the manpower over here to actually do the physical mapping, you know, for the distribution of properties. And I know that the courts have their own separate types of fee structure, but the courts are only for recording matters when it comes to land properties for families, no, but probate and all that kind of stuff, or sales of properties. I'm sure that you guys have ran into multiple times where property owners sold their property multiple times, and you guys assisted the same property owners in these payments, but when they filed, it was the first person that filed that now owns the property. So in order to prevent those kinds of stuff down the road, maybe we can work on this agreement with the courts, so you know which properties have already been sold or been filed with them.
Actually, yeah, that's true. Like last 2 years, I met with Judge Naraha, and we did discuss about all this land information, because you know, land information like documents is really complicated. That's why we were discussing to work together hands in hands in regards to these land documents.
Yeah, and I think it's important though that we come up with those regulations, because if you really work hand in hand with the courts, you know that at the end of the day, the courts are the ones that are going to take the money because they have a structure already. So let's work with the LNR and its enabling act to allow for fees and other types of payments. So there's actually monies that will be able to assist your office rather than working with them, because they already have a structure. They'll take the money, I guarantee.
That's true.
That.
Like for example, Congressman, we're the clearinghouse with all this map approval.
Yeah, and you guys should be
That's why
receiving
we're
money.
gonna
But
come out and, you know, start
let's
charging.
take that into a
Yes.
scenario. If on an average, on a yearly basis, how much is Land and Survey really losing in these types of fees for the work that you do for our community? Not just our community, I believe also with other government entities.
Yes, everything, the government, the private firm, you know.
So if we're looking at that,
surveying firm, the law firm.
$100,000 to $150,000 or even more.
Yeah, it all depends too, especially when the economy boom. That's when all the investors, you know, really come up and
Sure.
we're gonna have all these
Okay.
things rolling up.
So, I guess, like I said, we're working with you guys to get this revolving accounts available to you guys, and also we will continue that language in this budget to allow the secretary and its division directors to be able to move funds around to assist the needs of the department. No.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you again.
Thank you, Vice. And at this time, I recognize Representative Vincent Odom.
Thank you, thank you, Chair. I couldn't have said it any better than, you know, what Vice already said, because that was what I was going to say, that if, you know, why can't we use, you know, Hawaii and, NMC to assist in, providing all of this, services to scan and all of that, because they do have the machine for it, and instead of paying for it, make it like a work study program for NMC. So instead of you guys having to provide your manpower and your equipment, NMC has a program for, the student work program, and that could be one of them. And I know that because when I used to go to NMC, that was one of the things I had to do was, scan, or back then it was microfiche documents. You know what I mean? And so I do know that they do that. I also know that Hawaii does that. So like, the vice chair said, instead of utilizing your resources, how about you reach out and I'm pretty sure that the Office of Insular Affairs, they have to put some stake into that, because it does affect, the Native Americans and Pacific Islanders. And let's be honest, all of our land documents and technically all of the, Distitang Puntinaki, all the landmarks, the mohon that used to be there were blown out of the, ground. So we didn't cause this chaos. Federal government did. But that's beside the point. But do you guys have to use your own resources to get this thing done? I really don't think so. But I also do understand how the government here works. That, hey, this is my boundary, don't cross it. But yet they preach let's work together. Let's work together. Teamwork.
Yes, I believe in teamwork.
But when okay, then let's work together. No. We only work together when I want, not when you want. And that's why we cannot, get anything done. And everybody fights for money we don't have. But if we could do it efficiently and actually work as a team, working together to better the CNMI, I'm pretty sure that the $5,000 scanner wouldn't even be an issue. You know what I mean? But anyways, can I continue? Yeah.
Please proceed.
So going to your agricultural section, where's that?
Cam, would you mind going back there? It is agriculture.
So I remember the last time we were talking about the agriculture, right? There was an issue with the tractor. Has the tractor been already repaired? Because I remember that, we funded that through SNIL, right? To get help. Like, was that last year, earlier this year?
Yeah.
So was the tractor ever repaired? Because I remember when we were when that was a brand new tractor, but there was something wrong with the software.
Yeah, that's the big tractor we have.
Can you press your mic?
We have. Yeah, I did. That tractor, no, it has not been repaired yet. We did find a mechanic who is certified on Guam, and his fee is something like $3,000 to $4,000 to come here and diagnose the problem using his computer, and then you go back and then come back again for another $3,000 to $4,000 and fix it. So we're talking about money close to about $8,000 to $10,000 to get that tractor fixed.
And the only problem with it was the software.
I think so.
I can guarantee you that.
So I don't know what, but as you can see in our what you call that, revolving fund under equipment, we do have some money that we can spend for that kind of service.
Because I remember that we did, Chairman, if I'm not mistaken, we did fund that through, or give money for that through the SNIL, right?
We have helped a lot on other divisions with SNIL.
Maybe that's another agency, but not the tractor we're talking about.
Yeah, maybe perhaps not the tractor that the Division of Agriculture has, but there are other divisions that we have, like Parks and Rec and others.
Right, this one was purchased using federal funds.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. So, all right, so, but you got two tractors, one's down, still. guaranteed software issue. No. The other one is like semi-working, is it not?
Yeah, it's still working.
Barely?
Yeah, it's not computerized. I guess as we speak, it's better than the one that is computerized.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only one that we're using now, and that's the one that is costing a farmer like $20 per hour.
Right, and that's just that one, right?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Would it, and that busted tractor like cost you over, what was it, like over 60,000 or something like that?
80 some.
80-some thousand for that one, and it worked less than a year.
Yeah.
Right. Still looks pretty though.
Yeah, so next time, be aware. Computerized tractors, they're no good out here.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So and then, okay, so on another note, the Cagman farmers lot, they get that from DPL, correct? Or that's through agriculture? Okay. So the agriculture has how many water pumps there on that land?
5.
5. So out of all of that 5 water pumps, right, how many is specifically just for the agriculture? Does it feed the community around or just the agriculture?
Just agriculture. The 40-some farm plots plus our office.
So the agricultural center and all the farm plots, and that's it,
Correct.
right? And all of this is being used to provide farmland to our local farmers, correct?
Correct.
How many outsiders are utilizing those plots?
Farmers, some, but as far as the permittee, none.
So
are
all
outsiders.
it's the farm plots are permitted to locals.
Yes. to
How
US
many locals
citizens.
are actually farming that plot?
Good question. About 13 or 14 who are actively farming.
Okay, but somebody else is farming that plot other than local.
Yeah, because
So is it safe to say then that out of all the permit that have been submitted and approved by the agricultural division, right? You said 13 are local. How many certificates or how many licenses did we give or are being used, or how do you put this? How many total farm plots are there?
about 47.
Huh?
About 47.
47. So out of that 47, right? How many are actually local farming that land, those plots? 13.
The active ones. Yeah.
13, right? So who's doing all the remaining?
No one.
So nobody. So you're telling me that
They're
47 plots,
Yeah.
and all of them have been, awarded to locals, right?
Not all 47. 13, I said active, right? There are some that are not really active, but if you add the active and the not so active, we're talking about less than 20. The rest, they're vacant.
Okay. So nobody's
Nobody.
putting in submission to be farmers.
No, it's a very difficult career. Very, very difficult. Most of our farmers are.
The reason why I'm alluding to this, Nate, people can say that it's difficult, but success is not easy.
True.
Because I can tell you right now, no, I'm not trying to be racist or whatnot, but if outsiders are coming in here and farming, right, and then when they started farming, they end up owning, stores, commercial real estate, all of that. And where did they start? Farming.
Farming.
I'm pretty sure that we are all the recipients of, those hard work, because our parents grew up farming those land in Cagman, and then they ended up opening up businesses, but then we got spoiled and we didn't want to farm, so we ended up selling the business to somebody outside. So I'm just trying to think, okay, if there's 47 plots, 13 are active out of the remaining, right? How many are actual outsiders farming those lots? Because from my understanding, on the law, right, that those plot of land are supposed to be for local farmers, not local come in, get the permit, and then turns around, takes that permit, and gives it to an outsider, and then they farm it, and then the local sits back and collect. How is that helping the entrepreneurship in the right way? Because to me, that's making land out of public land, and then you're not paying the share.
Yeah, I think I understand where you're going to, but rest assured, all the farm plots were given to eligible applicants, U.S. citizen locals. Now, it's up to the individual to hire his or her farmers.
But is it
It
actually?
doesn't matter as far as we're
Is it
concerned.
actually hiring? The thing is it actually
Right.
hiring?
And that's the next step I want to get into. We have already terminated 3 of these farmers because of what you're alluding to. And we're going to be doing the same as time goes by.
Right, because I can guarantee you this: if I guarantee you that if I was in the shoes of a lot of these foreigners that are coming in, I will be living off of Cancun and sardines every day for the next 10 years, just so that I could be a millionaire in my 20th year, and all because of our land. You know what I mean? There's no way that anybody is going to convince me that the way the Bangladesh or the Chinese or the Filipino, or anybody else that's outside, that they didn't use our land to be wealthy today. I guess it's the mindset, correct? No, we can allude to that. That the mindset of our local people need to, like the governor said, back in his speech, that maybe we should revert back to the 19 Tinaki and start farming again, and then maybe we could become millionaires, because somebody did it right. And a lot of them did do it right because they were given the opportunity. We provided them the opportunity and they took it. And now they're very well off. And here we are, the rights belongs to us, and yet we're not making any money that we can tax and give it back to you the right way. Because at the end of the day, that money belongs to you anyways because it comes out of your land. No? But if we keep fighting on, like trying to figure out where we're going to get money, then it needs to stay here. Because I guarantee you, like all of this money that these foreign businesses own is not staying here. So we need to do a good oversight and good inventory to ensure that our people and our land, with the potential for it to create funds, stays here, so that when departments such as yours need it, we have it to give. But if we don't do our due diligence, then don't ask for the budget that you're requesting for if we're not doing our part. No? Because at the end of the day, this is our money, it's our land. When we should keep it here. So going back to that utility, that water pump, 5 you said, right? And out of that 5, you said all of it is for the agricultural plot. It doesn't feed Cagman 1, 2, or 3 homestead, does it? Okay. How much is CUC charging you? Is it charging you commercial rate or government rate?
I'm not sure, but when we were before, each well, we were being charged like $33 Now that we've installed timers on some of them, we're now getting charged like $15 per hour.
Who charges you?
A CUC.
So does it charge you commercial rate or does it charge you, government rate?
Yeah, that's a good question. I need to find out. I never thought about whether it's government or private rate.
And you should, because you should fall under the commercial rate.
Yeah.
Because it's providing, you guys are providing a service to the businesses that we're trying to,
Right.
increase their financial position, but it's going to be hard when you guys are not, when you guys are charged. But do you charge the farmers for the water, or does CUC charge?
We charge them $10 a month.
So technically, we're subsidizing the agriculture.
Correct.
Okay, now, herein lies the problem. No, because when si Tan Maria, that doesn't farm, right? Okay. So you got Tan Maria that doesn't farm at all, is subsidizing an agricultural, what do you call that, program. No, and we are not charging farmers the way they should be charged. She's getting charged. It's crazy. And people wonder why the utility rate is so high. So if CUC is charging you 20, and then you turn around and you're charging the farmers 10, that means $10 is being charged to Tan Maria. I can guarantee you ask Tan Maria, is it okay? She's going to take her jewelry and, galuti us. I swear to God she would. So again, and that gives you a shortfall on your budget.
Yeah.
So I think we got to reassess the charging here.
Yes.
And-
I apologize. We do have our regulations that are being looked at. We're redoing it. Part of those include the water charges that each farmer should be responsible for their own bills rather than the government paying for it. But we just received feedback from the AG, and we're working on those to resubmit. But the rules that govern the farm plots are in the process of being updated.
Okay. So here, and here lies another problem, Nate. How long has this thing been going on? Before I ask this, this question or that question, Nate, how long has this thing been going on?
First, we need to mention that we do have what they call soil and water conservation district for each of the islands in the CNMI, Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. These bodies, they set the rates on what our farmers down in Kangman should be paying. In the beginning, the regulation was 25 cents per 1,000 gallon, I think, or 10,000 gallon. But then that was not a good idea because the meter that that were installed on this at this FTO, they call it. These FTOs are the ones that sticks out from the ground and you connect to the farms. That's where the meters are. These meters don't work. Just like in the beginning, we always complain about our CUC meters, right? Because they always screwed up and the reading was not correct. And so what happened was that, and the farmers were complaining too. And so what happened was that they came up with a decision to start charging $10 per month per farm plot. And I guess for the past maybe 15 years, they've been doing that. And I didn't set the rate. I didn't set $10. But the challenge here is to get the right meter because that the water is not treated. And so it's murky and
Right.
I don't know what kind of meter there is in this planet that would work in a murky water to be able to read accurately the usage of the
So-
water
so
per
here-
farmer.
So here's
So
the thing.
there's
Here's a solution to this problem, no? CUC charges you, right? In return, you charge the farmers, right?
Right.
Okay, and you charge farmers, and it's being subsidized by the community at large, right? Okay, now, but these pumps, these water pumps, sits on agricultural land that DPO has designated to Department of Agriculture, right? So this is your land, right?
I think the question here, Rep. Vince, sorry if I interject, because I'm hearing you out, and your question is, and the director's answering, that of the $20 billing from CUC, they are only billing the farmers $10. So it's the department that's accumulating the other 10. Is that correct, Director? When CUC bills you $20 and you're only charging the farmers $10, so you're inheriting the other $10. Is that correct? Because who's going to pay for that other $10? Who's paying? So the question is, who's paying that other $10?
Yeah, maybe we're not inheriting, we're paying.
So you guys are paying it, right?
Yeah, we're paying on
so-
top of the $10 the farmers are paying.
Right, you're
Right.
paying the addition, the $10 off the 20, because
The
you're only
actual-
charging the
right.
farmers $10.
Correct.
You still have the floor,
And,
Rep.
and,
Vince.
and, and also, I might point out that we're not paying we're not paying CUC for the water we use. That's our water. That's our, like you said, our land, our water. We're paying CUC for the power that operates the pump and motor for the water to come out to the farm plus.
So that's the billing. The
That's the
billing is from
billing.
the utility that pumps it, not from the water.
Right. And it goes back a long way, this thing about the irrigation system at the farm plot.
Okay,
We
let's
were not
get that clear.
supposed to be paying anything, actually.
Right.
Until the watershed program.
Right.
You know, the big project in Kangman, the watershed project is done. That was the original agreement. The governor is fully aware of this. In fact, he always asks us, why are you paying? You're not supposed to be paying, because in the original agreement, we're not supposed to pay until the watershed project is done. The watershed project is what? Maybe 75% completed. It's not done yet.
And that's already like over 3 years, 4 years.
Oh, gee, I mean, Christmas, maybe we will.
Right.
It's been there for a long time.
Right.
Since Shimizu's time, when they had to pay out to help get the watershed project going.
Okay, so okay, and another like going around that same, because I'm trying to figure out like how can we save you money, you know? So how's that solar water pump thing working? How is that? Is that going good or?
Very, very good question. Pretty soon we're going to have them online, turn them on rather. But for now, we're trying to fix. We have 2 pumps going, and we're about ready to fix 2 more pumps, and then the last pump. Once we fix the last pump, maybe before the end of next month, when we can get some more of this funding from our revolving, that's when we'll have the solar panel or solar system turn on to operate our pump and motor. And when that happens, we'll see a very drastic reduction of our utility bills.
Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure that, you know, like you guys shouldn't be paying for anything if you have that solar going, and just disconnect yourself from CUC. So that way you don't have to be worried about that bill.
Yeah.
No. No. So how are you guys working with USDA and OGM to try to get more money to come in to compensate for, you know, those utilities and whatnot?
Sometimes they'll buy us water, the pump.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I received last month earlier this month grant information that you guys can avail for $15 million That's the pot. So I hope that you guys, put money or get somebody into that grant so you can avail to that. Because we cannot expect that OGM is going to be doing everything for everybody, on writing a grant and getting that money. If Uncle Sam is giving it, grab it. 15 million is not a lot for 52 states and however many territories, but every penny counts. And if we are trying to save money and give you guys the money that we do save and that we can provide, then, you got to help us too. Efficiency, and grabbing opportunities can help bring in funding for whatever else you guys might need. But inefficiency is costing you guys a lot of money. No, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Vincent O'Don. We have already passed our 12-hour mark. So with that, Mr. Secretary, on behalf of this august body, we extend our deepest gratitude and appreciation for you and your team coming over to this chamber and discussing your budget submittal and of course the governor's proposed. So I'm gonna give you back the floor for any closing remarks before we adjourn. You have the floor.
Thank you. On behalf of the staff and management of the department, lots of credit to these leaders and all the folks out there doing the hard work. We thank this body for allowing us to participate and speak to the good work that we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. And so with that, we move on our next order of business. That is item 6, announcement. And the chair would like to announce to the viewing public that tomorrow we have the Department of Public Works before this August committee at 9:30. And then the day after tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we will be having the Sinamay Public School System before this committee at 9:30 on Wednesday, July 16. So with that, we move now further down to our last order of business, and that is the adjournment. And at this time, the chair adjourns this public hearing. We are now adjourned.